Buongiorno, coffeepreneurs, or coffee bloggers, or coffee nerds, or anyone who really likes to create coffee content in a cafe setting. Because today I'm here in Milan at a very beautiful coffee shop called Orso Nero, and it was one of the most beautiful looking ones that I could find on my list of suggested cafes. And today I'm actually drinking a wonderful coffee from La Esmeralda in Panama, roasted by La Cabra in Copenhagen. I'm not going to get into all that nerdy coffee stuff because today what I want to do is share with you some quick tips on how to make great coffee stories for your cafe. A really easy way to just put some content together and tell the story maybe on a daily basis if you work in a cafe. So I grabbed a bunch of content on my phone already, super easy, and let's head back and we'll put it all together. See you there.
So step one, as I mentioned, is already taken care of. Back at the cafe, I took a handful of different vertical shots of key aspects that I wanted to showcase in that specific space. For example, espresso making, the pour over bar, a little bit of latte art, maybe some craft beer, a few interior shots to show some of the context, as well as outdoor context of the signage, and in my case, a bit of a talking piece on the phone to share with my audience. For you, it will depend on your cafe, your particular offering, and your personality, of course, whatever you want to show off on that specific day. Now, step two is taking stock. What footage did you get during the day that you can put together? Let's take a look. Now, what do we have to work with here? What might need trimming and what maybe might need some deleting? So now we've got all of our footage here. Step number three is to import it to an editor. Now, what I like to use is InShot. InShot is pretty straightforward. There's many other editors out there, but this one works for me. It's pretty minimalist, but feel free to use whichever one you have on your phone or whichever one you like. I just want to open the app, maybe import some clips, go to my album, boom. Now that leads us to step four. Start rearranging the clips. And so you can, in this case, in InShot, you can hold pressed and you get to see a little square thumbnail of all the different clips, and you can drag those around a little bit as well. So what we're gonna do is try to rearrange it in the way that you want to present the story. In my case, I'd like to start with a little bit of an exterior shot of some of the signage, maybe go in, look at some of the coffee, some of the craft beers, and then in my case, do a little bit of a talking piece, talk about the space, and then wrap it up with an interior pan of the cafe itself. So we can just rearrange these, find the right one, put it all in order. Might take a few minutes, might need to delete some stuff, but that leads us to step five. So once you have everything in the order that you would like it, now go ahead and trim any of the excess, any of the blurry shots, shaky, or things that are taking a little bit too long. So you really don't have to get too tech here. Remember, it's supposed to be easy, something that you can replicate every few days in your cafe. So one strategy that I like to use is basically just chop it up into a bunch of little clips, just the highlights, and put it all together, maybe add a filter for giving it a bit of a nice vibe. And one of the most important parts is keep it under 60 seconds. Now this is key because on stories, it really only allows you to upload 60 seconds at a time, but it chops it into 15-second clips. And so if you have over 60 seconds, you're gonna have to do a lot of trimming and cutting before you upload, and it's annoying. Same with TikTok and Reels, your max is really 60 seconds. So you're doing yourself a favor by limiting it to 60 seconds. And if it's slightly over 45 seconds, for example, I would try trimming it a little bit more to get it under 45. That way you only have to upload 3 clips. So it's a little bit of finessing, but I'm sure you can handle it. Let's move on to step number 6, the export. Now, this is one of the main differences between either using Instagram stories versus Reels or TikTok. Those two are kind of in a category of their own, but the same video applies. The export, whether you want to export with music or not, will change. So I would encourage you, if you're doing stories, trying to find music from your own library or within the app. There's a really nice library of music that you can actually use from the app and export it that way, especially if you have talking clips that you want to lower the volume or have adjustments there. You cannot do that in stories as easily with the music. Whereas TikTok and Reels, I would export it without the music and then add the music in later. Sometimes they give you a lot better selection, and you can actually do an overlay with the voice and the music and any other sounds that you have in the background. So you have those two options, but again, with stories, I would upload it with the music from the app. Just makes it easier to trim into those 15-second increments. Now, for step number 7, the upload. Here's where you can upload all your clips, add in any tags or any texts or any stickers if that's your thing. But I would suggest to keep it pretty minimal for these, because you want to really showcase your cafe. You want to showcase the visuals that you put a lot of effort into recording, the music. And so if you have a little bit of text, put that in to describe what's going on, but don't overwhelm the page. You want people to focus on the content. I do sometimes like to add some funny little stickers in there, but that's up to you. And here we go. Voila. It's out there. And of course, you can check this one out from Orsonero on my Instagram. I'm gonna save it in the Instagram stories highlights, so you can go check that out at a later date. And if you make your own, please tag me. You can tag it on the side or something. Just let me know so I can go and see those stories on either Instagram or TikTok, both at Brodie Vissers. And also, one last quick note before you go, I just added 3 new tiers to my Patreon page. So we've got the coffee lover, the coffee nerd, and the coffeepreneur. So we've got some perks in there, a few different activities, some monthly gatherings. If that's your thing, there's a link down in the description. You can go check it out, see if it's right for you. And in the meantime, I look forward to seeing all of your smiling coffee faces in the next video. As usual, cheers.